array of activities one could do between full-blown panic, which he said he didn't want to do, and Dana Bash, the idea of not saying anything. And Dana, Trump is now characterizing Bob Woodward as having not said anything sooner because Woodward knew the comments were, quote, good and proper. But that's not what Woodward says. Woodward says that, as often is the case with Donald Trump, he didn't know if President Trump was lying or not.
Yeah, and it turns out that he was remarkably well-versed on the topic early on because he got that information from President Xi, the leader of China, the country that he is blaming for this virus, which is understandable. It did come from China. The thing that really I was sitting here and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The President of the United States not only blamed Bob Woodward, but said if he thought it was so bad, he should have called the authorities. You are the authorities, Mr. President. You're the President of the United States. What's he supposed to do? Go home and call 911? I mean, it's so crazy, forgive me for using that word, that it's almost hard to wrap your mind around. The problem is that there are people who are going to listen to what the president says and not have the full context of the facts. Or maybe, depending on where they are, just kind of want to listen to echo chamber media, and they're not going to understand that. And so that is an unfortunate thing. The other thing, go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was just going to bring in Gloria and say, Gloria, it seems to me that President Trump has made it pretty far in life with the ability to BS his way out of any problem, whether it's being caught having an affair or Sharpieing on a hurricane map. Like, generally speaking, he has been able, by the people around him, whether at Trump Tower or the Republican Party on Capitol Hill, to just kind of like BS his way out of anything. You can't BS your way out of a pandemic.
You can't, and you can't BS your way out of this story, particularly since your words are on tape. So, you know, there was a senior advisor in the White House who said, I don't believe anything that Bob Woodward writes. Well, actually, these are the president's words that we are hearing. And what he is doing, Jake, is the kind of I did it, so what defense? You remember that from impeachment? We sat through all those hours talking about the president's phone call with Prime Minister Zelensky, and he said it was a perfect call. And what he is saying now is the same thing. I did it, so what? I don't know if it's good or bad. Bob Woodward must have thought it was okay because he didn't call 911, as Dana says, right? So he's shifting the blame, as he always does. He doesn't take any responsibility for anything and comes up with this ridiculous excuse that as a leader, you have to show confidence. Well, there have been plenty of leaders in history who have leveled with people all over the world and have inspired confidence by telling them the truth and leveling with them.
Most of those leaders have gone down in history as among the greatest leaders in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at Rudy Giuliani after 9/11. I know for people young enough, they might not believe me when I'm heralding Rudy Giuliani's leadership, but after 9/11, he was honest, he was forthright, he said what the truth was. Caitlin, President Trump also taking the time, of course, to bash the media. We expect this at this point. Is this just a continued attempt to undermine the people, bringing the facts to the American people so that his base believes him?
Well, and we're the people asking the president these questions, so that doesn't surprise me at all. But the bottom line is blaming Bob Woodward is not going to work. Bob Woodward is not the president. China is not in charge of the U.S. Donald Trump is president. Donald Trump is in charge of the United States. He's the one that we now know not only absorbed this information, but was given this information, was fully aware of this information, and did not pass it on to the American people, and instead did the opposite. Instead of going out and telling people in February, hey, this is airborne, the president held rallies with thousands of people, did not recommend people wear a mask for several more months, and put American lives at risk by taking those actions and not taking other actions. So at the end of the day, it lies with Donald Trump, and he only took 3 questions from reporters. If that really gives you any indication of whether or not he wanted to defend what it was that he had told Bob Woodward.
All right. Gloria, Dana, Caitlin, Sanjay, thank you.